Hey guys, how's it going? Joe back here, gonna review yesterday the 24th's playoff games, a night that went really well for me in one game and pretty shit in the other one. Don't want to make this one long. I got crap to do, let's get right into the Celtics. I don't think you can really say too much negative about the Celtics in that one. I think their depth scoring was kind of an issue. Obviously Tatum and Brown had fantastic games each. Brown, let's see, I'm pulling up the stats right now. Brown 33, Tatum 28. Yeah, Tatum 8 rebounds, Brown 8 rebounds, Zink 8 rebounds. So the Celtics, I mean, those guys played good. Zingas, though, 6 points. Holiday, 9. Yeah, he doesn't usually put up too much more than that. Derek White, 13. He's got to get rolling in these playoffs. And Sam Hauser only hit a couple threes. So, yeah, it was a big depth scoring problem for the Celtics in terms of what they did wrong. Um, JB had an insane run at the end of the first, and then I'm sorry, at the end of the first half, and then the Heat kind of counteracted that like almost damn near immediately, and almost tied it up again. And then after in the third quarter, he kind of took over and yeah, I ended up winning the game. 53.5% from three for the Heat. They are not gonna do that again. I still feel pretty confident in the Celtics to string something together here. I think it's very unfortunate that this kind of game happened for the Celtics at home rather than game three. Like the same thing I said for the Bruins. I'm like, I want you guys to pull out game two. If you guys lose three and you're up only 2-1, like those things happen. I don't always expect a sweep. This scenario I did, but like I still have confidence in the Celtics to get it done. It took us 6 games against the Heat. Like I mean, I'm sorry, against the Hawks. I still have confidence in our team. What is it with Caleb Martin, man? Why does he does not like the Celtics? I watch any Heat game and Caleb Martin's just kind of there, and he plays the Celtics, and all of a sudden he's Jesus. Like I don't get it. This guy had 21 points. He was hitting everything from three. Everyone was hitting everything from three for the Heat. Jovic had a really good game. Off the score sheet, he only had 11 points on, but he had 9 rebounds and 6 assists. Bam 21, Tyler Hero 24. I said Hero is going to be a little bitch this series. Everyone was like, "Oh well, Butler's out. I guess Bam's the best player." I'm like, "It's going to be Hero." This game, I guess it wasn't really Hero because Bam did have a double double. He had 10 rebounds as well, but Hero had more points. So people were kind of dismissing Hero. I was not one of those people. Caleb Martin, Hero, Bam Adebayo show up against the Celtics. What else is new? Chalkers Jr. also had a all right game, 14 points, but nothing to brag home about. Simply put, Celtics need to be better. The Heat hopefully will be worse. I mean, I don't think they could do much better than that. That was a really good game for the Heat. Um, so they just need to do better. I want to see Derek White start to do shit. He was that guy last year in the playoffs. Grant was the guy before. It looks like Hauser might be that guy this year, even though he had a really slow game too. I have confidence in Hauser. But Derek White, yeah, no, you need to do better than that, buddy. Let's jump into the next game. Similar to the Celtics, the Pelicans got absolutely plastered at the three-point line. Let's take a look at those stats. So yep, both NBA games did not go well for me. The I'm sorry, the Thunder looked really, really good. So they did not get so they're still 124. So the Pacers still have the highest score in the playoffs. I don't think anyone gives a shit about that, but I'll be looking for it just out of curiosity. Um, yep. So the Pelicans were bad. The difference was the Heat were crazy from three. The Pelicans were just bad. They got 27% from three. The Thunder were 48% from three. Um, yeah, and the Pelicans also had 17 turnovers to 8 by the Thunder. I think I said Heat. I do mean Thunder here, obviously. Um, just a bad night all around for most of the Pelicans. Valanciunas um opened it with I think like 7 points in the first 5 minutes or some crap. So love Valanciunas. He did well, 19 points, or 7 rebounds. We do expect a double double, but we don't typically expect around 20 points for Valanciunas, so that's okay. Ingram, what the hell, dude? Ingram, wake up! Okay, sorry, but no, I'm for real here, dude. You are without Zion. You need to play better than that. Even if he was awake, I guess you could say they wouldn't have won with a 30-point friggin' game. But Ingram, you need to lead your team. You really do. Herb Jones also scored 18 points. That's really good for Herb. Ingram, you're really frustrating me here, dude. You really are. And even Nance only had 2 points. He was out there for 14 minutes. I didn't watch the game because it was a blowout after the halftime. At halftime, I mean, I was too busy watching hockey. I hope he didn't end up getting hurt. He did only have 2 points, but those are the guys they're gonna need. The guys with the height on the team are the guys they're gonna need because they're shooting 25% from the friggin' three, and Ingram can't do anything. So yeah, I don't really know what to say here. I mean, Zion gets reevaluated on Tuesday, so hopefully we can be alive on Tuesday. Um, but yeah, no, they looked horrible. Let's talk about the Thunder real quick though. The Thunder looked really, really good. Chet Holmgren again. I don't know too much about how a Rookie of the Year usually plays. But would this guy run away with it if it wasn't for Wembanyama this year? Would this guy run away with it in some other years? Because he is electric, dude. He is creating these runs for the Thunder, not to take anything away from SGA, and SGA is feeding off it and outscoring Chad. It's crazy to see. So Chad Holmgren is the I think the Pelicans' worst nightmare. 7 rebounds and 26 points. Shea George Alexander, 3 rebounds, but 33 points. So yeah, and then who's this? Jalen Williams, I think. Jalen Williams also had 21 points. He was hitting some threes. Yeah, I mean, I really don't know what the Pelicans can do here. The Thunder simply have them outmatched. Obviously, the Pelicans are going home. Um, if they can take both of them at home, good. I don't see them taking one. It looks like it's going to be a sweep. It's unfortunate, but I can't be too mad because they almost didn't make the playoffs. So I was really happy that they beat the Kings to make the playoffs, but this is not how I wanted them to go out. They are not playing to their potential, particularly Ingram, and they got to be better. They really do. For the Thunder, good for them. Quick ass rebuild for these guys, but yeah, really good for them. I don't hate the Thunder. I definitely don't hate the Thunder, and I would like to see them do well. I always like to see a team that has never won a championship win a championship. So, we'll see how that goes for them. Obviously, it looks like they're gonna at least advance at this moment, but there is still games to be played. So, we'll see. We'll see. Game one was close. This was ugly. So, all right, let's jump to the Bruins. I got a lot to say. I got a lot to say. We'll get to the refing later. Let's start with Wotherspoon and Lowry. Both were in their debuts tonight for the playoffs. They both looked great. Wotherspoon blocked a shot early on, looked a little rough. I was like, are we going to be with 5 defensemen again? Obviously, we were when Peak got hurt. He came back. He was out there on all 5 PKs. The Leafs went over 5 on their power plays, so and Lowry was matched up with McAvoy. And obviously, your best defenseman is going to be out there when their best offenseman is out there. So that means that Lowry was out there covering Bertuzzi and Domi because obviously they were gonna stick McAvoy with Matthews for most of that. And Matthews is on a line with Bertuzzi and Domi. And Domi has the most points for the Leafs this playoffs so far. I think Bertuzzi had a really good game. I think Swayman robbed the crap out of him a couple times, and that was Lowry. Lowry was out there doing that. So, did he have a perfect game? Absolutely not. Like I said, Bertuzzi was probably their best player. But, I mean, I think he did fine. I think he did well. I think he stood his own. I think we stick with these lines. I think Montgomery switches up these damn lines so fucking much, but especially the offense. That it's like it's really really hard to get some line chemistry. So stick with these lines. See where it gets you. Um, Yep. So, let's talk about Joel Edmondson really quick. Let's talk about a couple defensemen for the Leafs. Joel Edmondson looked really, really good. He had I think 2 insane shot blocks. Probably had more blocks, but I'm talking like with my eyes. There's an empty net, and Edmondson is there, and he takes the brunt of it. So I think he had a really good game. He's fitting in well there with the Leafs because he also did dirty things. But no, he had a good night. And Morgan Riley also had a very good night, I think. He was constantly putting it on the net. They did go over 5 on the power play, but I don't blame Riley for any of that. He looked decent out there, and he had the assist on the Bertuzzi goal, and it was an excellent assist. So, um, good job, Morgan Riley. Don't like you, don't like any of you, but I gotta admit you had a good game. So there you go. Yeah, Swayman almost had Bertuzzi's number, man. Like it was close. He had him until the very end. It was very frustrating. Let's go back to the beginning of the game, though. Beginning of the game, Bruins came out swinging 7 shots in a power play right away. Leafs get a power play. That shit was scary. Swayman saved us. And then the Leafs kind of owned the period from there. No goals from either side, but it's something that the Bruins need to get better at, is getting back to their form after an opposing power play. I feel like whenever the other team has a power play, the Bruins lose that momentum past the power play. You know what I mean? So, yeah. Let's talk about Nylander. What's going on? We thought they said he woke up feeling weird last Thursday. Well, now it is a week from that Thursday. Where's the explanation? Does he have playoff-itis? I don't know what's going on with Nylander. I'm not sure if they're covering something up, but yeah, I prefer this. I definitely prefer not having him in the lineup just to secure a couple wins here. Up 2-1. I wish it was 3-0 without Nylander in the lineup, but those things happen. Um, Game 4, will he return? I don't know. He was a game time decision tonight, but they made it seem like after game 1 they made it seem like he'd play game 2. After game 2 they made it seem like he'd play game 3. After game 3 they're like, oh, well, it was a game time decision in game 3. I mean, we'll see. I have a feeling he'll come back 4. If he doesn't come back 4, I have a feeling that he's just going to be out for the series. I don't know what's going on. They're clearly not telling us everything there is. They're saying like it might be a head thing, but I don't know where that's coming from. Um, so Bruins outshoot the Leafs finally. 34-30. We're still allowing 30 shots every night. Not ideal, but when you have Swayman and Omar, I am saying and Omar. Omar's not a bad goalie. We'll discuss that later. Um, that's I guess, but just I'd try to put as little pressure on those guys as possible. You can't always rely on them. Um, let's talk about Mitch Marner. Mitch Marner did have an assist on the Matthew Knies goal. It was a pretty neat assist, but he had 0 shots on goal, and other than that, I don't know. He just wasn't there. So it was a good assist, and that was a great goal from Nyes to get on the board. Pissed me off. Pissed me so off that they opened the scoring. We answered pretty quick. With who scored our first goal? It's gonna piss me off when I figure it out because it's gonna be like, duh. Well, Marchand had the 2 at the end. DeBrusk had the 1. He had the second goal. Who opened the scoring for us? I can't even. When I see the name, I'm gonna know the exact goal. Freddie, he had that weak side one. Yeah, that was a bad goal. Samsonov on that, and like I said, we're gonna talk about Marchand and Bertuzzi on that later. But yeah, not a good goal for Frederick. Samsonov should have had that. The DeBrusk goal. That guy remains electric. Playoff DeBrusk is a different beast. That's why we signed him to do stuff like this. So if we don't, I don't know how much you pay a guy like that, right? That just goes invisible in the regular season, but goes off in the playoffs. I mean, that he's playing when you need him to. He's definitely playing when you need him to. So how do you pay a guy like that? I am not sure. But let's see what we got right here. Yeah, Swayman almost got caught behind his net right after the I think it was the DeBrusk goal. He was like, I'm gonna do this thing, and almost immediately got busted for it. But luckily he got back in front. So pull a Hellebuck, pull a Gorey. Wow, why are so many goalies messing up on this in the playoffs? Like this is when you're supposed to like be like, let's not take any risks, and you take risks. And then let's talk about real quick. So we did talk about the Bertuzzi goal. He finally broke through on Swayman. He had some crazy chances. Swayman sprawling out. I thought the puck was and there were bodies piling up, and most of that was Bertuzzi on the net, whether it be power play or with the Matthews line. And then he finally gets one pass with the help of Morgan Riley. I want to feel happy for him, but he's a Leaf, and he's against the Bruins. And then right after the Bertuzzi goal, Marchand says, it's so funny, right? It's so funny. Marchand versus Bertuzzi this series is unbelievable. It's very entertaining. Bertuzzi scores, Marchand answers so quick. Short side goal, beautiful, right over the shoulder of Samsonov. Small pocket there, small pocket. And an assist from Heinen, who has been quiet this series. I'd like to see Heinen start lighting the lamp as well. So then we had to hold on to that 3-2 lead until the end. There were some close calls, a lot of close calls. Swayman obviously stood on his head. And then Tavares took an undisciplined penalty. He clearly tripped Frederick. Don't know what he was thinking. He should not have done that. They had the puck behind our net. But that was with 104 remaining in the game. So even if they managed to tie it up, we would go into overtime with the power play. That was a decent feeling. But guess who gets the empty netter? Marchand, who ties Cam Neely now in playoff goals scored for the Bruins. Did not even know it was remotely close. I thought Phil Esposito must have done some crap. I figured Bergeron had more. God's sake, he was in the league like 7 more years than Marchand. But nope, Marchand's a playoff beast, and quite simply put, this is where he plays his game. Um, so let's talk about JVR. We put JVR back in the lineup for Lauko. He had a breakaway, didn't score. Looked like he could have scored on that breakaway. That was a good breakaway. It was right after the opening goal from Nyes as well. Um, but yeah, no, I'd say keep JVR in. I don't know why we got rid of him. He is a great front net presence on the power play. I really liked our power play when JVR was right in front of the goalie because those rebounds were going right to him, and he was really good with those. So I would keep him in. He will make the power play very, very better. Um, let's see. Every skater got a hit. Every single skater got a hit. I saw that. It was pretty crazy. Ryan Reeves was doing what Ryan Reeves does. They were calling his hit on Zaka dirty. I disagree. I'm standing up for the Leafs. No, I do disagree. I think that hit was fine. Everyone was going off on each other. Um, I think it's great that we're winning without Pasternak doing much. He did have one goal in game 2, which we ended up losing. But I mean, it's only a matter of time, right? Until Pasternak starts being Pasternak. So let's um let's hold the fort down until he comes back, and hopefully he gives us what we need. I've always been a Pasternak critic. In terms of how much money he makes for us, because he's a turnover machine. But in terms of offense, he will be scoring goals. So I have no doubt in my mind that Pasternak is an excellent goal scorer. So that's what we need right now to stay on top of the Leafs. Let's talk about the refs. Let's talk about the refs and the penalties and the power plays. Both teams got screwed. Before I come out and say that the Bruins got screwed, both teams got screwed. It was absolutely ridiculous. It was uncalled for. It was horrible. Horrible refereeing. Like, it started when Domi hit Swayman on his way to the bench during a TV timeout. Swayman obviously embellished the hit, but Domi had no need to do that. Absolutely no need to do that. That should have been a penalty. No call. And I remember Jack Edwards was like, "So we get a free one on Samsonov now, right?" That was pretty funny. And then the Leafs got screwed because I forget. No one's talking about this one. McAvoy dive tackled someone with a cross check behind our net, and they didn't call it. They didn't call it. And now let's talk about Marchand versus Bertuzzi. At the line, I would have called, so this is what I would have called. Marchand trip, sure. I would have sent them both to the box. I would have sent Bertuzzi for roughing, Marchand for the trip. Now, here's the thing, before you're like, what, offset? That still would have canceled out our goal. Because we scored, because they would have blown the whistle while that was happening, and Trent Frederick wouldn't have got that shot off. So before you think I'm biased on that, that still would have canceled out that goal, and we could have possibly lost the game because of that. So thank you, refs, I guess. But both of the players should have been called on that, Bertuzzi and Marchand for roughing. Little Subban Marchand action. I love to see it. And then the McAvoy does like what, in my opinion, and I think the world's opinion for the playoffs, is a clean check and gets called. Like, there's certain things that you don't call in the playoffs because it is the playoffs, and that's one of them. Like in the regular season, I could kind of see that getting called, not in the postseason, and especially not with the consistency that the refs had throughout the rest of the game. And then on that power play, I'm pretty sure the Leafs got screwed because there was a great chance it was Bertuzzi again on Swayman, shoveling, and Mitch Marner started pointing like this, as if one of the Bruins players grasped his hand on the puck, which is obviously a penalty. Guess what? No call. And I'll say this: Marner looked so convinced that I believe that a Bruins player definitely had his hand on the puck. I really do, and no call. So do I have proof for that? No, but I firmly believe that, and if I believe a Leafs player, then it must be true, right? But let's continue. I forget the penalty that we took, but then Bertuzzi took a penalty at the end of the second while we were on the PK. We had possession and did some Islanders hockey, just passing it back and forth. Very intelligent play. I'm sure everyone hated it. Who wasn't a Bruins fan? I was laughing my ass off. It was like Bill Belichick screwing the Jets there on the fake punt or whatever. But what was I gonna say? Yeah, and then we rushed up. Pastrnak almost gets it in. That should have been a goal. So dang, Pasternak. But who cares? Because that great idea, just passing back and forth, that did lead to the DeBrusque goal to start the third. So double thumbs up. That won us the game. There were a lot of scenarios that won us this game, which is kind of unfortunate. That all the things needed to go right, especially in a game where we outshot them. But it's all right. We have an extra day off, get some rest, and we'll see. Sheldon Keefe was going off about Marchand after the game. I'm not bothered by these comments. A lot of people are. It is a thing that Marchand does. He likes to get under your skin, and I wouldn't say he gets away with things as much as everyone else in the league. Sure, he got away with one last night. I mean, think about it. It's Tom Wilson. It's Brad Marchand. It's gonna be Matt Rempe in a couple of years. Refs look out for these players. So Marchand has a microscope on him all the time. So they're gonna call him for a lot of things. And they do. They do penalize Marchand a lot because they're looking at him. They know the rats on the ice, right? So I don't want to hear that he gets away with a lot. Tonight, did he? Sure, but that's why I don't really care what Sheldon Keefe has to say. I don't take offense to it. I think he had every right to say and think that in that moment. Um, but yeah, good win for the Bruins. And bring it to Scotiabank again. If we go up 3-1 in the series at Scotiabank, that's pretty dang good. I'm not going to say it's a done deal because winning game one, losing game two, and winning three and four is exactly what we frickin' did last year. But yep, nope, we got home ice back, and it should be if we lose, it'll at least go to 6. So there you go. Let's talk about the Knights. Stars, you're letting us down, guys. Crap. I don't even think they played bad. Mason Marchman opened the game with a really good hit on White Cloud behind the net. Later in the period, Robertson did a reverse hit on Stone, who was coming at him, and the crowd loved it. I love how the crowd is screaming, booing when Stone touches the puck. I think it should be when any of the trade deadline acquisitions, other than Mantha, who they had the money for, touch the puck. But still pretty funny. Did you guys see that they called embellishment on Heiskanen? It still exists. It still exists. There's no way. Um, but let's talk about Dallas at the end of the game real quick. Because my number one complaint or my compliment for Vegas was keeping them out of their zone in the last 10 minutes of the game. Dallas managed to get in there a lot this game. It was a lot on Logan Thompson. They were getting some really good shots off. Wyatt Johnston headmanned a lot of that. So did Ben and Robertson. Those guys really impressed me this game. So did Miro Heiskanen. He had a great game. But obviously they didn't come up with the win. I saw things I liked from the Stars. And it's hard. It's hard to say that, especially after an L like that. I think they only get one goal, the one from Robertson. I think that is true, which is great. I never would have expected the Stars to only score one goal in any game these playoffs, let alone the second one. They're down 2 or 0-2. That's bad. That's real bad. What was I gonna say? Yeah, both teams were really physical. Stevenson had a real nice hit in the later half that was answered by Hiskinen. Actually, no, I think it was Hiskinen and then Stevenson answered. Um, so good for them. For keeping the physicality. Love to see it. Jamie Benn had another great game. He had an assist. He had constant pressure. I'm pretty sure. Did he have that breakaway? Oh no, that was game one. He had a breakaway in game one. But let's talk about Vegas. Noah Hannafin, huh? Son of a bitch. Dude, they can't keep getting away with this. They can't keep getting away with it. They really can't. Like, they have to make a rule, man. They have to make a rule. Hannafin is so. Like, I've been saying I thought he was overrated, dude. This guy's been electric since the playoffs started. Is he a playoff performer? We'll see. Is he the Knights defensive Jake DeBrusk? I don't freaking know. But he's been playing excellent lately. This game he was really headmanning the power play. He definitely got a goal. Did he get an assist? Nope, just a goal. But yeah, Hannafin was everywhere tonight, and there was no stopping him. Let's talk about the Marchessault goal, which was really, really nice. It was mostly Eichel, dude. It was Eichel coming in on the left side, Marchessault on the right, and Eichel sold. He waited so long to pass that puck. Like, what was I gonna say? Ottinger probably thought he was gonna deke around him and put it in. He waited so long that he completely sold the fact that he was shooting it, and then just passed to Marchessault, and Marchessault put it in. So that goes to Eichel. I think Eichel and Hannafin were their best players tonight, easily. Um, I think we passed the Robertson goal. The Robertson goal was all right. Like, like he shot it straight at the net. It was a zinger for sure, and Thompson couldn't get a load on it. It was a far out shot. I've definitely seen better from Thompson on saves and Robertson on goals, but I mean the puck's in the back of the net. Who's gonna complain? 2 goals in 2 games for Jason Robertson. And then who got the tie? Oh, I'm sorry. It was Hannafin that had the tiebreaker. Yeah, and then Eichel got the empty netter. But yeah, there were some real good scenes from both of those goalies. Ottinger had a crazy who was it? Theodore. It was safe. So Theodore comes in pretty much on a breakaway, does a normal shot, whatever. Ottinger saves it, gets out of position, looks up. Theodore has the puck back on his stick, dives, saves it with the glove. Great save, Ottinger. That's what we're looking. That's what we're looking for in this series. You make a save like that and then just let in the dumbest crap. I hate it. This game really came down to the goaltending, and Thompson outplayed Ottinger in that category. So good for Thompson. My question for you guys is: does this diminish Aiden Hill's success last year? The fact that Logan Thompson's coming in and doing this to a Dallas Star team that almost won the President's Trophy, right? I always thought Aiden Hill was kind of overrated. Then they decide to go with Logan Thompson instead of Hill in the playoffs. And it's like, all right, so now Hill is the backup. I told you he was overrated. And now Thompson's doing, I wouldn't say just as well as Hill. Obviously, it's still early and he only won 2 games, but he's winning games. So, yeah, does this diminish Aiden Hill's success? I think if it continues, yes. Even if he loses a couple, because they ain't going 16-0. I hope they don't go 16-0. But, yeah, and now Dallas is on the road for 2 games where they could get swept. That's crazy to me. I don't think they're gonna win both of the aways. I think they're gonna have to win one of them and come back from down 3-1 if they want to win this series. Which is I hate it. I really they were my cup pick. I really like Dallas. I really like their depth. I really like how they play, and they're just not putting it together. You can't even blame this one on Ottinger. It's just unfortunate. I think Stars had just as good a game as the Knights. I think I'm just surprised. Empty net aside, it was like a 2-1 game, But the chances that they were having, I would imagine the score would have been higher, and the more experienced goalie in Ottinger would have gotten the win. But didn't tables did not fold that way, or cards. Freaking I don't know. Uh, let's move on to the Kings game before I embarrass myself anymore. So last game here, um, This was a crazy one. Obviously, went to overtime. Did not last long in overtime. The difference between the Kings. So here's the thing, right? The Kings stars showed up this game and won. The Oilers stars didn't. The King Stars did not really show up in game one, and the Oilers did, and they won that game. McDavid had 5 assists. Like, what the hell else do you want me to say? What do you want me to say about game one? But Kopitar had an outstanding game. Doughty and Kempe. Kempe had 2 goals. Um, Kopitar, he obviously had the game winner. I think he might have had an assist or maybe even 2 somewhere in there. And Drew Doughty obviously had that breakaway goal. Are we calling goaltender interference on that? I don't know. The puck was already by Skinner. What are the rules, right? The puck was past Skinner, and then Doughty crashed into him. So are we calling that? I don't know. But either way, they came to play, and the goals that Talbot gave up weren't all impressive. The second Holloway goal was pretty good, but I mean, we're talking 2 goals from Dylan Holloway and 1 from Brett Kulak. Like, ah, I don't know. The Oilers' depth just doesn't really interest me. Like I really do like seeing heavy depth worthy teams, but like the guys who are on the lower six in Edmonton are just very uninteresting to me. I'm pretty sure I don't even know. Is Kulak's a defenseman, right? Is Brett Kulak a defense? I don't even know anything about the people that were scoring last night. Yeah, he's a defenseman. Um so yeah, this is obviously, however, not to diminish the work of McDavid and Draisaitl on them. There was this crazy save from Talbot in the third, I'm pretty sure, on the power play where McDavid did like a no look pass, back spinning or some crap in the slot to Draisaitl on the corner, like in the circle, and he shoots it like real close to the net too in the circle, and he shoots it, and Talbot gets a glove on it. I was like, Talbot, you just robbed a highlight reel goal from these guys, and now that should be a highlight reel save for him. It was crazy. I don't think it's going to be just because it wasn't like flashy like the Bobrovsky one was. Bobrovsky save was better. I don't mean anything by that, but yeah. Let's talk about Evan Bouchard. He had a really, really tough game. He was on Kempe for both of those goals. It was a bad pass from him that led to the first Kempe goal. And then the second Kempe goal, Kopitar did have an assist because Kopitar was skating up with Kempe and Bouchard was in between him and Kempe and he couldn't get a stick on it because Kopitar passes to Kempe and Kempe just hits it right in. Yeah, Bouchard, that was really rough. The rest of the game you were kind of invisible, so that's an okay thing compared to what you did in the first, because that was the first like 5 minutes or so that he allowed both of those goals. You're supposed to be the best player out there in terms of defenseman. I mean, Darnell Nurse is supposed to be, but I think everyone at this point knows that he's not, not that guy. So it's supposed to be you, Bouchard, and you allowed the first 2 goals, and it was just a sign of things to come. We are lucky that a couple of weak ones slid in to tie the game up. Um, didn't go to overtime. So let's talk about Holloway's goal. The first one was decent. It was from the slot. Talbot had a better saves. The second one was really nice. I think it was high. I think it was like right above him. Talbot like held his glove over one shoulder, but it went over the other. So that was a nice goal. I will give Holloway that. That was a nice goal. Um, let's talk about Zach Hyman. Hyman, obviously, he had a goal. We got to talk about that PK for the Kings in a sec. But let's talk about his hit on Philip Deneau. He hit Deneau real good. Deneau went down to the locker room for a few minutes and came back. We've been seeing that a lot, where especially in the Tampa and Florida series, where a player hits someone so damn hard that they got to run to the locker room, make sure that they're not concussed, and come back. Or I'm not sure if concussing is the what they're looking for, but in my opinion. But yeah, because Doughty's head was down during that hit. He did end up returning, but good on Zach Hyman to take the body. Let's talk about Quinton Byfield really quick for the Kings. He looks very, very comfortable. I hadn't realized how many playoff series he actually had played in before. I think this is his third, maybe fourth. Um, so I thought it was early for him, but no, he has ingrained himself really well. Obviously, this was his breakout season. So the other couple times in the playoffs, I think he had like 2 goals and 1 assist. And I forget what he's done here. I know he has at least a couple of points, but Byfield definitely looks very, very comfortable. Um, let's see. Yep, the third period, no goals were scored. It felt very, very balanced. The shots on net, the possession time, both teams, there's really not too much to complain about in terms of the third period. I think Edmonton was a little more physical, which kind of surprised me because that's kind of not their game. Whereas the Kings, it's also not their game, but it's a little closer to their game. Um, and then oh, I haven't even mentioned the Fiala goal. That was a rocket. That shit was a rocket. Fiala had a great game all around. He almost scored a second goal right after that. Skinner should have that though. Wasn't very impressed by Skinner in that sequence. To open the third, I think he should have had that. Actually, I'm sorry. So yeah, there were goals in the third. There were two. The Fiala one started it pretty early on. Like 18 minutes left in the third. Fiala did that, and it was a good shot. But then, about 2 minutes later, the Oilers answered on the power play. So that is in game two, the fourth power play goal for the Oilers. And I understand last year their power play was insane, so it's like, oh, they were a really good power play. No, go watch the goal. Hyman had an empty net. Empty net. Kopitar was there. He was trying to dive in front of it, but I mean, what were the odds that he was going to actually hit that? That would have been insane. Um, the PK for LA just needs to be better. It really does. That's what they should be working on all day today. All day today, they should be working on that PK. It looked absolutely terrible, and it has looked absolutely terrible. You can't let this Oilers team take advantage of that because that's what they like to do. That's where their strength is. Their strength is the power play. If your weakness is the PK, that is a problem. You're gonna take penalties. It's just how it works. You can try to take less. That's also a good idea, But when's it not a good idea to take less penalties? But yeah, no, Vegas. I'm sorry, LA really needs to start impressing me with their PK because it's just atrocious. Four PP goals, PPG in the sorry, yeah, PP goals in the. They're so bad. In a round is fine to me, but I mean, crap, they have four in 2 games, so something to work on. And then obviously only a couple minutes into overtime. It doesn't matter because Anze Kopitar comes out and goes top shelf on Skinner on kind of a break. And who was on him but Darnell Nurse. Nurse did everything he could. I don't mean to be an ass, but yeah, obviously not a good look for the Oilers who lose one at home now. LA has home ice. I thought this was going to be a sweep. I was very confident in that. I was wrong. Some people are shocked to hear me say that. But yeah, no, the big guns came to play for LA. Kopitar, Doughty, Kempe, especially Kopitar and Doughty. That's huge for these guys who have been there for a long time and won some playoff series and won some cups for the franchise. So yeah, good to see those guys come back and have a good game. Game three will be very interesting to see how it goes. See if LA can work on that PK and see if the Oilers big stars can respond to that. See, Draisaitl's been pretty quiet. Obviously, the whole team had a feeding frenzy on game one, but Draisaitl hasn't done anything to blow my mind. And last year, he was the leading point scorer in the NHL until like game four of the finals or some crap. So, and he got eliminated round two. So, yeah, we'll see where that goes. But other than that, Bruins got a couple days off. Who do we start? It's hard to not go with Swayman, man. I've been all about this goalie rotation. I really have, but I mean, it's not even about Omar losing. It's about how good Swayman was. He's 5-0 against the Leafs. I want to see that save percentage. It's like .95 or some crap. I'm not sure about after last night, but I know before last night it was. Actually, it probably still is around there against the Leafs, particularly, specifically. I mean, so I wouldn't be mad at that. Would not be mad at either. If we started streaming game two, I would have been mad. Would not be mad after game three. I would not be mad at Omar either because I think Omar had a great game three. I mean, sorry, game two just didn't get the win because we were heavily outshot and outplayed. But yeah, Bruins have a couple days off, so I can rest. I can relax. Same with Celtics. Pelicans, I don't know. I don't have any faith regardless for them. But tonight, yep, we only have 2 NHL games. I'm not sure about the NBA, but we'll see. So thank you guys for watching, and I See you guys tomorrow, hopefully.